Good evening and welcome to the Dollar Dogs and Beer podcast. I am your host, Andrew, and we are all back tonight as Jason is finally not on vacation or otherwise tied up with family. Welcome back, Jason. How you doing, bud?
Thanks, Andrew. I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back with you guys. Nice and refreshed after vacation down to Virginia Beach last week. Great food, great company with family. So yeah, let's get back into baseball.
And back to Phillies losing to the Braves as always. What else is new? Joe, how you doing tonight, bud?
You had like 10 seconds until Andrew mentioned the series.
40 actually.
Boy, did not take very long. Jeez.
Dude,
I'm doing okay.
Gonna go back on vacation now.
Yeah. I'm doing okay. The Irish got a win over the weekend, so the college football is kind of like, all right, let's see what happens from here, kind of thing. And Indiana is 3-0. So,
yeah, how about that? Talk about surprise of the season so far. I did not expect Indiana to be 3-0 at this point.
Yeah. We'll see what happens when they get into the meat of the schedule. I mean,
Yeah, the Big Ten's going to brutalize Indiana pretty bad, just like it's going to brutalize everybody pretty bad because especially the Eastern Conference. I mean, with Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan out there. Can we just say the top two teams in the East go to the title game because the West sucks. The West is a flaming dumpster fire right now. Nebraska already fired Scott Frost because the dude can't win games that are 3 scores or less. He's like 5-28 or something insane like that. So the downfall of Nebraska is something I always take particular joy in watching, especially after a certain amazing Penn State team did not get the opportunity to play Nebraska for a national title way back when. Yeah, still bitter about that. Anyway, Jason, did you bring back something from vacation to drink, or are you drinking something local tonight?
I didn't bring anything back other than Cheerwine, which is a cherry soda from the North Carolina area. I brought 5 cartons back. But I did get some nice breweries. We did go to a brewery down there, New Realm Brewing Company, which is delicious. So I'm going with something that I just found in my fridge. I tried a couple of the others the other week. So it's the Bud Light soda. This one's the lemon lime. So it's like an alcoholic Sprite.
Yeah, my wife's younger sister likes to drink those, and I can't. They are so sickeningly sweet to me. I just can't.
Yet you drink cider?
Not all cider's sweet. I actually like dry ciders. I mean, Joe can attest to this. Way back when, I used to drink Strongbow all the time, and that's one of the driest ciders you can get. Joe, what are you drinking tonight?
I am on the Evan Williams and Pepsi tonight.
Okay.
So I am rocking the Wrigley Field glass and still allergic to St. Louis. And, it's a good week. We'll see what happens.
And Joe, I do appreciate the Cubbies' efforts in beating down on the Mets. I just wish Atlanta would have done a better job of capitalizing it. But thank you for doing what you did.
Yeah, I tried to help you out, man. I can't help that your team didn't perform.
Yeah, dude, tell me about it. And tonight from a local brewery that I not my favorite beer of theirs. It's from Lancaster Brewing Company. My favorite beer of theirs is the Strawberry Wheat. It's one of my favorite summer beers. But tonight, because we're in the hunt for October, we're going with the Oktoberfest. Actually, this is pretty solid, though. I do like Oktoberfest beers all around.
Isn't that like 4 weeks in a row with an Oktoberfest of some kind here? Like,
no, I had.
You got to clinch and get there, bud. Like, slow down.
Well, I mean, they're going to have a playoff.
They're all but there
in a couple days. I mean, they're not far from clinching a berth, at least. So, now I the one thing I haven't had yet, I haven't brought a pumpkin beer out yet. It's just, it feels odd to drink pumpkin beers in September, but you almost have to because of all the freaking basic people who like to steal the pumpkin spice before everybody else gets to it. And then they're gone by the first week of October. Kind of disappointing. All right. So moving in tonight, quick update on the 3 home run chases we've been tracking. Albert Pujols, the man, the myth, the legend, he is still rolling along. He hit 698 on Friday night against the Reds. That was off of Reynel Espinal, a 427-foot shot in the left field stands. That was number 19 on the season. And then one other thing I just wanted to note with Pujols, guys, he is now up to 2,203 RBIs for his career. He is 11 behind Babe Ruth for second all-time. Hank Aaron is still the all-time leader there at 2,297. So he's not catching Hammer and Hank. 11 behind Babe Ruth. We're getting close to the end, but it's possible. As hot as he's been, I'm not going to say he can't do it, because anytime you tell Albert he can't do something, he figures out a way to do it, as we've seen throughout his entire career. So Pujols, keep mashing, man. 700's right there. And then Aaron Judge, man, 4 home runs last week, 2 against the Red Sox on Tuesday night up in Fenway, and then 2 more on Sunday against the Brewers out in Milwaukee. He is now up to 59 on the season, 3 away from breaking Roger Maris's record of 61 homers and 61. Probably the easiest record of all time to remember the year and the record. So I fully expect Judge to have this record shattered at some point, the way he's hitting, considering he is basically the only Yankee who has been hitting. And frankly, I will be shocked if he's not MVP as well, because he's also on Triple Crown pace as well. I believe tied for second in batting average, and leads RBIs home runs. So full power for Judge. And then the ALPB home run chase we were watching was Courtney Hawkins of the Legends, and he did get to 48 home runs, so he did tie the single season record for the Atlantic League. So congratulations to Courtney. Unfortunately, the rest of the team did not do so well this year. They will not be moving on to the postseason, but our local Lancaster Barnstormers are. So go Stormers. Let's bring a title back into Lancaster. It's been way too long.
And the thing with Courtney Hawkins, he did it in the last at bat of the season.
Talk about getting it done when it matters the most. That's awesome. Jason, your buddy's back. How you doing, Ronald? We're glad to have you back on.
Ronnie.
All right, guys. So that's our home run updates. Jason, what do you got for Down on the Farm tonight?
Yeah, so Down on the Farm tonight, we're going to start with the hitter of the week, and it is Cade Marlowe of the Arkansas Travelers. They are the Double-A team for the Mariners. His slash line this week, 480, 552, 1.280. He went 12 for 25. 11 runs scored, 2 doubles, 6 home runs, 11 RBI, 4 walks, and only 2 strikeouts.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I really enjoy the pitcher just because you'll know why in a moment. Mason Montgomery, who is with the Rays affiliation, the Double-A Montgomery Biscuits. So I just love that Montgomery is playing in Montgomery. But anyway, he went 1-1 this week, had a 1.0 ERA, 9 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's not bad either. And yeah, Montgomery. Yeah, we're not going to see that again this year, probably, especially because Down on the Farm's going to be winding up in a week or so as minor league baseball finishes up. Yeah,
and I'll try to keep track of some playoff races, try and give us some information on who the champions of the different leagues are, especially from the Double-A and Triple-A level. So we'll see what we get.
Yeah, if I saw it correctly, the Mississippi Braves, which is Atlanta's Double-A affiliate, I think they're moving on to the playoffs. I don't think their season. I don't think playoffs are done down there yet, but I think they clinched a playoff spot. So congratulations to them and to all the teams in minor league baseball that are moving on. I wish we could say the same for our semi-local Harrisburg Senators, but this is not the year for them. But like I said, I'm glad I finally got to see a win in that stadium for the first time in like 10 or 15 years, because it's been a very long time. All right, Joe, what do you have to release the good tonight?
Before we get into release the good, on the Aaron Judge thing, he's 1 point off of the average in the American League now. Goldschmidt is 9 points back in that category. I think he's still behind quite a bit now in home runs, but
yeah, he's not catching Schwarber.
Yeah.
I think Schwarber's going to take the NL. As much as I love Riley, I don't know that Riley's got enough of a surge this late in the year to catch Schwarber. I think he's 3 or 4 behind. So, and Schwarber's already at career high numbers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, yeah, I think the NL home run title is probably going to be Schwarber. I would be shocked if it's anybody else. Hell of a year for Schwarber. And again, not trying to jinx anything. I'm so happy to see he's been healthy all year because he is a fun guy to watch. And well, let's face it, sometimes when he's running in the outfield trying to make catches, it's a little hilarious too. But he's a great personality.
Leave it at I'm glad he's having a good season.
Great personality in the dugout, though. Great
he's a Braves fan. He can't do that.
No.
I've always liked Schwarber. He's never been a guy I hated, even on the Phillies.
Yeah,
and we've seen him hit 2 home runs. Well, no, I think I've seen him hit 2 home runs. I think he's hit a home run in each game I was in Philly this year.
He hit the one that you and I were at. He went off of like the batter's eye in center field.
Yeah,
and I believe it was last week. I think when he hit one over the stands and into the top like catcher area of the visiting bullpen.
Damn.
Yeah, and I just love when he hits the ball. Like you can tell he got all of it because he has that freeze with the bat. He swings, the ball hits the bat, and he just stops.
Yeah, he knows it's gone. And he knows it's gone a long way before it's going to hit down.
And the thing is, he's not trying to hit home runs. They've talked to him, and he's trying to just get the barrel to the ball because his philosophy, which is the right philosophy to have, is that as long as I put the barrel on the ball's going to go somewhere and it's going to go far.
Yeah, that's a good philosophy. And, kind of piggybacking on what Joe and I were talking about last week, Jason, this whole let's get rid of the shift. How about you just put the damn ball in play? Hit it where it is. I mean, Acuna had in the Phillies game, his was an opposite field shot because the ball was away. So he put it that way.
Both nights, I think they were opposite field.
Yeah. So why and I know I never made it past Little League. I never had to face 90+ mile an hour gas, but my God, if you can figure out how to hit a baseball in the majors, stop just always trying to pull for power, especially in those 2-strike counts where they're just going to bury you with crap away. So you can't do that. Javi Baez, just hit it the other way. Just slap it in that open part of the field. Anyway, I digress. Okay. So Joe, as you were saying.
Yeah. Back to Release the Good. Sorry to get us off on a tangent there.
Well, come on. The show's all about tangents.
Anyway. So the story here, it was in our group chat this week. Joey Meneses for the Nationals, he was part of the Padre deal with the Soto deal, went back to the Nationals, has become a fan favorite pretty quickly here. Avery Hilliard, a 10-year-old girl, was at Nats Park, and after warming up, Joey Meneses threw her a ball, and some jackass old man fan stole the ball from her. That's the worst part of this story. Is come on, guys, let the little girl have the ball. Don't be stupid. So anyway, she's about to make the catch. This adult fan steps in and snatches it. He walks away without paying mind to the fact that she was right in line for the ball. To make up for that, he sent Avery a autographed baseball with a note, and the note says, hold on a sec. It says, "I'm sorry you didn't get the ball I threw to you. I wanted to make sure you got one, so I hope this signed game ball makes up for it. Hope to see you at a game soon." And so that's a nice way to end what ended up being a bad story because of an older fan being a jerk. What I really like about this story and some of the stories we've highlighted is that you see players who get it, who get what it means to these young fans to be at the game, who get what it means for these fans to have some sort of memento, from their experience at the ballpark. it's one of those things where a young fan gets a foul ball, you can make them a fan for quite some time, and possibly make them a lifelong fan of the game. And that's what it's all about. So I love the fact that players continue to understand what it's about.
That's just so awesome. I mean, I know we've gotten the grass tickets for the Barnstormers before, where you're just out in the outfield, and we get there early enough when we do that so that we can get the seats right along that bench. It's right along the top of the wall, and the opposing team's down there warming up when we get into the ballpark. And even if the guys don't have time to autograph, they're always willing to throw my kids a couple baseballs. And they just love that. Plus, hey, I'm always good with increasing the baseball collection because God knows I lose them as fast as I get them, kind of like my golf game. So, Joe, I actually had one more bring out the good that I just saw a couple hours ago. So Puerto Rico, unfortunately, is getting wrecked once again by hurricanes. They're still recovering from 2017, I think was the last one that just took the power grid out and killed a bunch of people. Guy we love to give a little crap to because he'll swing at anything, anywhere. Javi Baez has said that basically go to I forget which restaurant it is, but go to a restaurant. They will provide you a free meal if you need it, and Javi's going to pick up the tab for that. So and I know we're going to see more about that come out as we get farther away from the actual event itself. But good for Javi on that. Reaching back out to his community. Joe, was he ever the Alomar nomination for you when he was with you guys in the Cubs?
It's the Clemente Award,
or the Clemente, yeah. Sorry,
but I don't think so. It wouldn't surprise me if he was. Rizzo got a ton of attention for what he did with his cancer foundation, so I know he was the nominee a few times. Hayward was the nominee this year. And those nominees were just out last week. Roberto Clemente Day was last week too. So that's another thing, thinking about good things and players doing good things in their communities. It's great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that he did it this quickly after the tragedy struck, all props to him. All righty. All right. Looking at the playoffs. So if the season ended today, the seeding is as such. AL, you have the Astros, Yankees, Guardians are your three division leaders, and your three wild card teams at this point are the Blue Jays, the Rays, and the Mariners. Round one would be wild card round is Rays and Blue Jays, and Mariners and Guardians. The Astros would get the winner of the Blue Jays and the Rays series. The Yankees would get the winner of the Mariners Guardians series. In the NL, it is Dodgers, Mets, Cardinals for the division winners, and the wild card is Braves, Padres, Phillies. It would be Braves, Padres in the wild card, and Cardinals, Phillies. The Dodgers would get the winners of the Braves and Padres. The Mets get the winner of the Cardinals and Phillies. Jason, we actually talked about this last week or the week before. It drives me nuts that we're not reseeding during rounds, so the number one seed might not get the best matchup if the 6 seed knocks off the 3. Do you think baseball should get out of the archaic Stone Age and reseed in between rounds, just like pretty much every other professional sports league does?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those, what's the point in having the top seed if you're not going to get the most favorable matchup as far as seedings are concerned? Like you mentioned, the other sports do the same thing. Yeah, I don't see why they don't, but I think at the same time I kind of get it, where you can have a bracket out, you can kind of prepare, teams can kind of look at how they want to set up their rotations, things like that. Just because the big difference between baseball and the other sports is, in the NFL playoffs, you have a full week to prepare. Whereas in baseball, you're doing 2 games back to back, 1 day travel, and then more games back to back. So I think it helps teams prepare and kind of set up rotations.
Yeah, I guess, although really does it matter that much if your next round is the Mets or the Dodgers, who you're bringing up? I mean, you're just fighting to get through your round. Are you really looking that far ahead? because we've seen it before. Teams that try and look that far ahead tend to get bit in the ass and knocked out. But anyway, yeah, just thoughts from last week. I did want to get your perspective on that. 2 berths have been clinched. The Dodgers and the Astros are in. The Mets will clinch a berth tonight if they beat the Brewers. The Braves will clinch tomorrow if they win tonight and tomorrow against the Nationals. The Astros will clinch the West if they beat the Rays tonight, or if the Mariners lose to the Angels. And the last time I saw the Angels were up 8-1, or the Mariners were up 8-1 on the Angels, so I'm pretty sure they didn't blow that one. So the Astros, if they win tonight, they will move on, or they will clinch the division. I mean,
I can't believe I'm pulling for the Mets in the first part of this week. It kills me a little bit inside, but I need the Mets to beat up on the Brewers right now.
You know, I'm one of those classic football fans that says I root for my team, the Vikings, and also whoever's playing Dallas that week. And yet there's times late in the season where you have to pull for Dallas.
What rivalry with Dallas do you have? Should you say like in everybody who's playing the Packers?
Oh, well, yeah, that too. But I've never liked the Cowboys, man.
I can't catch a break with you. With any of my teams.
You've known this for how long? 16 years, 17 years, something like that?
It's you think that there's a rivalry between the Vikings and the Cowboys?
No, I don't think there's a rivalry. I just don't like the Cowboys.
Then
it's not a rivalry thing at all. There's no trust me, there's no rivalry there. I just don't like them.
There, especially the last 2 years when the Cowboys came back and won both games.
Exactly. So maybe there is a rivalry forming.
I just can't believe that, like, out of your shirt, like, if you had a shirt, it would say, my favorite teams are the Vikings and whoever plays the Cowboys, when it 100% should be the Packers.
Well, I do tend to root for whoever plays against the Packers, too. I was pulling for the Bears last year, yesterday. So sadly, that didn't come
It's
to
like
pass.
Joe wearing a shirt that says, I cheer for the Cubs and anybody that plays the Padres.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know, Jason, I think this might come back to the fact that you had a loaded team in the 90s and the Braves had the best starting rotation in the 90s, and you got more out of that loaded team than he did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. No doubt about that. I'm also, it was a little before. I wasn't paying enough attention to football back then, but there's a certain trade that I don't like to talk about too. We're just not going to go back that far. Yeah, did the light bulb just click? Yeah. All right. So let's get out of football and move on to the divisional all-time draft. We'll start with the AL East. Just a quick reminder of the rules because it's been a couple weeks. We must have 2 players from each team minimum, and it's 4 currents, right? Sorry, I actually forgot to pull that back up. Yeah, 4 current players, 2 players from each team minimum. 3 outfielders, 1 of every other position, 3 starters, and a closer. All right. So in the AL East, Joe, you have the first pick. You're on the clock, bud.
I'm going to do this because I want to do this. Joe DiMaggio in the outfield.
Jolton Joe.
Obviously, it's where my Twitter handle came from, but it's sentimental. My grandfather gave me that nickname, so I'm going to ride with it.
Can't argue with that. Great reason. Also, can't argue with that as a number 1 overall pick. Jolton Joe is a hell of a player. All right. I'm also going to stay on the Yankee train. I'm going to take Babe Ruth as an outfielder, not as a starter. I'll take him as a Yankee, not as a Red Sox. And there's way too much with Babe you have to specify in this pick. That's a little nuts. All right, Jason, who do you got?
Yeah, so I know I told you guys this before, but for our viewers, I have not prepared whatsoever for this, being on vacation the last week. So I am doing all this from memory for the most part. I might have to look up a position or something, but for the most part tonight, this is all from my memory of players in history here. So I'm going to start. I'm going to take Cal Ripken Jr. as my shortstop.
Great pick. And one of my all-time favorite players. You said shortstop?
Yes.
Okay.
Because on the wraparound here, one of the teams I think is fairly thin, just because they don't have as much history, is the Tampa Bay Rays. So at third base, I'm going to take Wade Boggs.
Ooh, not who I thought you were going to pick.
Oh.
All right. Thank you for leaving the third baseman. I'm going to take from the Rays Evan Longoria to also knock out a current player as well.
I had to go with the history there with Boggs out at third.
Absolutely. No, good pick. I'm just really, really happy you didn't take Longoria because I wanted to knock out a current player too with that pick.
I had thought of him, but I'm thinking, man, shoring up that left side of the infield with Cal and Wade, I'll take it.
Great pick. All right, Joe, second round.
I'm going to take Josh Donaldson at third as a Blue Jay.
Good. I was about to say, don't say Yankee, please.
Yeah.
All right, and Joe, starting round 3, who do you got?
I'm going to take care of the closer. I'm going to take Mo Rivera.
Yeah. I didn't think Mariano was going to last very long. And honestly,
one of the best entrance songs ever.
Oh, yeah.
That's be one of the positions that I have to look up later because my memory is very thin beyond Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, and that's understandable because there wasn't a ton after Rivera. I do remember that. I was like, I either have to get him earlier, or I'm just going to have to settle pretty decently far down in the tiers for that. All right, let's see here. I think I'm going to go. Which way do I want to go here? He didn't do much. I'm going to knock out another current player and grab a starter who unfortunately hasn't been doing as well since being traded from Tampa Bay. But I'm going to go with David Price, who was absolutely phenomenal with them as a starter. And now I'm also done with Tampa Bay, thank God. They're just not deep. They're too young. Same problem we ran into with the Diamondbacks. Go ahead, Jason.
All right, so I'm going to start by getting a current player here, and I'm going to take one of the basically who I think is going to win the AL MVP this year in the outfield. All rise, Aaron Judge.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Can't argue that one. Should be the MVP, although, of course, Shohei will always be in that conversation. All right, Jason, your wraparound.
My wraparound, I think I'm good with some of the other positions here as far as what I'm looking for. I'm going to go with my catcher, and I'm going to actually knock my Yankees off the board early here just because I can go back and get some more later if need be. Jorge Posada, catcher for the Yankees.
Absolutely. Not a bad player at all, Jorge. All right. I think I'm going to grab another starter and grab from the Blue Jays, Doc Holliday. Talk about a guy who's gone too soon. All right, Joe, end of round 4. What do you got?
I'm going to take care of short, and I'm going to take care of a current player as well. I'm going to go with Wander Franco.
Yeah, I thought about that. I do like that pick.
And then I'm going to get a I'm going to take care of an Oriole. I'm going to get Jim Palmer as a starting pitcher.
Good pick. All right, and I picked my shirt pretty deliberately tonight. I'm going to take Lou Gehrig with my next pick from the Yankees. All right, Jason.
All right. Let's see here. 2 Toronto, 2 Boston, Baltimore, Tampa, 3 Currents. All right. So in the outfield, I'm going to take I need to get my thoughts together again. Who was it? Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah. Outfield. I'm going to go with Teddy Baseball, Ted Williams.
If you weren't going to take him, he was my next pick.
And then we're going to, let's see. Oh, this will work. This will get me one of my Rays players here and a current. So where do I want to go with Toronto? You know what? I'm gonna go with Toronto, and I'm gonna take starting pitcher Jose Barrios.
I'm starting. Okay. Jose Barrios. All right. All right. I'm going to knock off another current player with my next pick, and I am going to take Vlad Jr.
As a DH?
No, I'm going to take him as a first baseman.
You took Garrick already.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Then DH. Yeah, good catch. For some reason, I wrote down outfield, even though I know he's a first baseman. Thank you, Joe. Man? Yeah, I know. Long week. It's still early. Yeah, Vlad's worth burning a DH spot on, even 3 seasons in.
All right, I'm gonna take care of my Tampa Bay and another current player, Rich Hill.
Rich Hill. All right. Oops. Yeah, mark him as a current. Rich Hill. Got it.
And at DH, I'm going to take JD Martinez.
Okay. So knocking off another current and a Red Sox.
Yep.
Huh. I actually don't have any Red Sox yet. Can't do that because that's already knocked out. You know what? I think I'm going to grab... Yeah, let's do this and knock out another current. I'm going to grab Mookie Betts from the Red Sox. Now I have all of my current players completed. Jason?
Let's see here. Need 2 current, and then one of each team except for the Yankees. So I am going to I want to say this is the person I'm trying to think of, but let's see. Sorry, I'm just making sure that they were on this team from what I remember.
Nope, that's okay.
And they were not. Who was
it? I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. I was thinking Zambrano was with the was with the Rays, but I think I'm thinking of Carrasco or someone.
Yeah, you're not thinking of Zambrano.
Yeah,
I know that.
but anyway, second base. Yeah, I'll go with my second baseman here. And I'm just going to go with, from memory here, one of my favorite second basemen to watch play growing up from the Orioles, Brady Anderson.
Oh, Brady. He had freaking wheels, man. He was fast.
Yeah, he did. And then, so that's Baltimore. That's gone.
Wow, it's really Jason. He was an outfielder. He didn't play second.
I could have sworn Brady Anderson was a second baseman.
No, I'm not seeing second. I have Baseball Reference pulled up. Outfielder DH.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to get rid of that pick.
Okay.
I really thought he was their second baseman for a while.
No.
Anyway.
Sorry, Charlie.
This is what happens when you have to do everything from memory.
That's what I'm trying to fact check as we go. And also spell names right the first time.
Well, then tell you what, I'm going to go with. So I'll take my closer off the board here just because I keep thinking about them. I'm going to go with. It gets rid of Boston as well. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Papelbon, closer for the Red Sox.
So before he decided to start swinging at teammates in the dugout. Got it.
He was dominant with Boston.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Arguably the best closer they had in the history of the team.
And then I'm going to knock out. So I still need one from Baltimore, correct?
Correct. I have only one Baltimore pick so far.
Okay. So I need one Baltimore, one Toronto, one Tampa, and two current.
That sounds right, yeah.
Well, then I am going to go with a current and get rid of Tampa. I'm going to take starting pitcher. I know he's hurt right now, but before he got hurt, he's been dominant. Shane McClanahan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Pick. Tampa Bay starter. And that's two starters for you then, Jason. Just to keep track on your end. Let's see. Okay, I do have Toronto done. Toronto's done. Tampa's done. New York's done. Okay, so I need one more Red Sox. And then I can just play around and pick whoever the hell I want. All right, I'm going to take another starter from the Red Sox. I'm going to take Pedro Martinez. That closes my starters out, FYI, for you guys.
Joe, who are your starters so far?
Rich Hill and Jim Palmer.
Okay.
Okay. So at second, I'm going to take Joe Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Get him out of there.
I didn't think you'd take him, so.
Hell no.
And then in the outfield.
Hold on a second, Joe. Did Carter play second?
I thought he did. Maybe I haven't.
Carter played outfield and first. He only played a total of one game at second base, so I'm going to say no to that.
Okay.
Yeah, veto Carter.
Okay.
Carter's out.
Let's put him at let's put him at first then.
All right. Toronto first base. Just because you had to, right?
Why not? I mean, there's other options there, but what the heck?
Hey, you know, if it gets under Jason's skin a little bit, why not? Hell of a player.
Yeah. And then I'm going to take.
Oops.
Actually, now I don't know if I love that Carter pick or not. Anyway, that's fine. Carter at first. And then I'm going to take Frank Robinson in the outfield from the Orioles.
I wouldn't put Frank Robinson anywhere else anyway. All right, I'm going to knock out a shortstop and another Baltimore shortstop. I'm going to grab Bobby Wallace. I had to dig a little deeper on that one than you had to with Cal, but not bad for an early turn of the century guy.
For sure.
All right, Jason, who's up next?
So second base, I'm going to get rid of my Toronto picks here and go with Roberto Alomar.
Good pick. Said second, right? Jason, you said second base, right?
Second base, yep.
Okay. All right, your wraparound?
I want to double check one thing here. Make sure, yep, first baseman. I know Vlad's gone.
Yes.
You know, I think I'm going to do this just because it's. I need one Oriole and one Curran, correct?
One Curran and yes, one more Oriole.
All right, so I'm going to knock both of those out at once here. I think it's a pick that I just have to do here. Trey Mancini at first base.
Trey doesn't belong in the fucking Astros. If they had him, they might be doing better in this playoff hunt. Not better. Not better. All right. I think I need one more Oriole, right? Yes, I need another Oriole, and I still need a second baseman. So I'm going to grab Bobby Grich of the Orioles. Their all-time leading B war among second basemen. So, hey, why not? All right, Joe, who's up next? Joe, you're muted, bud.
Sorry. Yeah.
Right.
Carlton Fisk at catcher.
Carlton Fisk, got it. Good pick.
And then the wraparound, I'm gonna take Roger Clemens.
Ooh.
I'm really glad you did not take the person that I'm looking at ending my starting pitchers with, Joe.
I have a feeling who that might be, but I don't know.
Are you taking him as a Red Sox or as a Yankee?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Your pick.
Red Sox. I had my quota anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't realize that. I hate Clemens.
I don't care.
No, that's all right. No, fair enough. I'm not saying you had to care. I just hate Clemens.
Because Andrew, you're done with your starting pitchers, right?
I believe so. Let me double check. Price, how? Yeah, I'm done with my starters.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, you're good to wait till round 13 if you want.
Joe, are you done with your starters?
Yes. Yep.
Well, then I will just save that pick for the very end. It's going to be a very bad Mr. Irrelevant. Well, I guess I don't know if I'll end it or if Joe does, but I'm glad this person will be there.
Good.
So anyway, go ahead, Andrew.
You end it, Jason. You have the Mr. Irrelevant pick.
And it's going to be one of the ones that should not have been a Mr. Irrelevant pick.
No.
Am I good to make my pick there, Jason?
Go for it.
All right. Because I can't believe he hasn't been picked somewhere, and I can't believe I still have an outfield spot open. Mickey Mantle. One of my all-time favorite non-Braves as well. I think I wrote like 3 or 4 book reports about him in elementary school. All right. I need catcher and closer, right? Yeah. All right. You guys are done with both of those, right? Yeah, sweet.
Catcher and where?
I already know my catcher is going to be. There's plenty of catchers. Closer was the one I wasn't so sure about.
All right, so I'm going to go with the outfield. I was going to be taking him if possible here. Andrew, I have Mickey Mantle listed as a first baseman.
No.
No.
That's
outfield.
Then what I'm looking at is very weird. So we're just going to go a different direction here.
And he did play first. He was a center fielder and a first baseman.
Gotcha.
He was primarily known as an outfielder, though, not a first baseman.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but it was just weird the way it was sitting there. Let's see.
That's all right.
All right. I'm torn. Well, I'm going to go with him just because it's a great outfield pick here. Well, I guess I do back-to-back, don't I?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to start by taking Reggie Jackson as my designated hitter, Mr. October. And then to end my outfield spots, I'm going to be taking one of the original season home run hitters, the Chase for 61, Roger Maris.
Yeah, absolutely. Hitting the Yankees pretty hard there on those last 2 picks, huh?
You have a history like that, you're going to have a ton of great players to choose from.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the Yankees, for my catcher, I am taking Yogi Berra. Okay. All right, Joe.
So I need a second baseman and an outfielder, I think. Is that, or yeah, a second baseman and outfielder is all I've got left. At second base, I'm going to take Paul Molitor.
Huh. Yeah.
And then I think I'm on the last outfielder. Is that right?
I believe so. Let me double check. One outfield. Yes, you need one more outfielder. Blue Jays barely. Okay.
Carl Yastrzemski.
All right. I already know I butchered that spelling. It's okay. It'll be fine. I'll look it up later. Excuse me. All right, and I need a closer, so I'm going to go with one of the best mustaches to ever play the game, Goose Gossage. Jason, who's Mr. Irrelevant?
Joe, I think did you want to guess who it was?
Well, I thought it might be Josh Beckett, but it wasn't Josh Beckett. So
No, sir.
I'm
going with one of the best pitchers to ever play the game.
Cy Young.
Cy Young.
Whitey Ford.
Whitey Ford.
Oh. Yeah, I can't argue with Whitey either.
I thought of Cy Young, but I actually think that while the award is named after him, he's not the best pitcher of all time.
No, he just had the longevity and made a ridiculous number of starts every year, and there was no bullpen back then.
Yeah, and I saw Whitey Ford. I'm like, he has to be on this list somewhere.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. Whitey was one hell of a pitcher, honestly. Yeah. No arguments there. All right, so that is it for the AL East. Let's head on to the NL East, a division that Jason and I needed to prepare far less for because, it's our division. I have the first pick. The order in this one is me, Jason, Joe.
Shocker, you got yourself the first pick for the NL East.
Again, my kids made the original picks.
And you somehow worked it around so that you could pick first.
I rotated it the same way the whole way through. Check the tapes. I'm just lucky that it came out like this. So with the number one overall, whatever. With the number one overall pick, and not surprising to anybody, I'm assuming, the late, the great, the greatest baseball player to ever play, Hank Aaron.
Not that I'm going to be far off from being a homer, so.
Yeah, I was about to say Schmidt.
Actually, no. I was tempted.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a bad first pick.
No, but I also want to make sure that I get some of the current players off of the list here, just because outside of a couple teams, like for the Nationals, you maybe have a couple current players that you could go for. The Marlins are very thin overall because they also, here we're looking back again, they don't really have the history.
True.
Now, with the Nationals, are we counting Montreal?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Vlad Sr. and the others are available.
So this is going to be such a homer pick, but I have to do it. Put him in the outfield. You know who.
Say it, man.
From the Phillies, Bryce Harper. I had to.
Oh, of course you do. No one would fault you for that.
And nobody would expect anything less either.
Yeah, but it's a good pick.
I'll say he's not going to stay. He wouldn't stay there long. If he even got back around to me with Joe.
Yeah, I to be honest, I didn't expect Harper to be one who would stay long. He's one of the best current players in the division. Let's be real here.
Yeah, reigning NL MVP.
Yeah, already building a Hall of Fame resume. We'll see if he gets there. It still has a long way to go, but certainly not outside the realm of speculation. Joe?
Man, this is tough. Do I do what I think I'm going to do? I don't know.
You have two picks for it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Maddox at 1.
Yep.
And just to spite your ass, I'm going to take Tom Glavine at 2.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, great picks. Can't argue with any of them. I figured you'd get Maddox. I knew I wasn't going to get him because I was taking Homer and Hank first. What do you got, Jason?
I'm going to kind of keep my current train going on here. Okay. I'm going to knock out a Marlins player and starting pitcher. Going to be the Cy Young winner, I think, in the NL this year, Sandy Alcantara.
he's not the Cy Young. There is something very, very wrong. And I say that having a starting pitcher on my team leading the majors in wins, and I don't think he should be anywhere near the top of the Cy Young conversation.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Alcantara just collect his like 5th or 6th complete game of the year last week? Something insane like that?
Something nuts like that, yeah.
Yeah. He should 100%, no questions asked, be the no arguments for me. All right, let's see. All right, I think I'm also going to dip into the Marlins train too, just because there's just not a whole hell of a lot there. And I'm going to knock out a current as well, even though he doesn't play for him anymore, and grab Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, that's a good one. If you didn't take him in one of your next 2 picks, he was going to be coming to me.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to last very long. No, I was pretty sure he was going to come off the board fairly quickly.
Outfield or DH?
Outfield. I'm not taking a DH at pick 2. Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean,
I've made a lot of questionable management decisions before. That's not going to be one of them.
okay. I was just clarifying for positions.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we know what you got here.
I'm going to knock out another current player too. No, I'm not going to make that pick yet. I thought about it. Screw it. I'll go Homer. Chipper Jones.
As if you weren't going to do it. Like
the only Braves jersey I currently own until Matt procures my Ronald Acuna Jr. jersey. It's on order. I just don't know when it's getting here. All right, Jason, who's next?
I'm gonna get. It's another current player. It's another Marlin, but it's one that I think. Well, maybe not. I'm trying to decide the way I want to go with this because there are options everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I think I will, just because once I get my current players out, then I have a ton of room to go wherever I want. So, yeah, I'm going to do it. Third base from the Marlins. Doesn't play for them anymore. Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah.
Good pick. Forgot about him.
It pains me to not take Schmidt.
Yeah, I get it. I do. It's just Miami is so shallow.
Yeah.
And let's face it, most of their best players don't play for them anymore. I mean, Alcantara at this point in his career is already their number 10 all-time WAR player. Already number 10. You consider they win 2 World Series, they have 2 fire sales. I mean, what's going to happen? Joe, what do you got?
At closer,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Edwin Diaz.
Knocking off a current.
Yep. And then another current, I'm going to take let's see. Juan Soto.
Okay.
Oh, you dick.
You had to know Soto was coming off the board pretty damn quick.
He was literally my next pick.
I figured.
Sorry.
No, it's all good, Joe, because I have a backup in place. Jason, that was dumb. I should have taken Bryce Harper as a national.
Yeah, why did you take him as a Philly?
Because he's currently on the Phillies.
Can you change it? Will we allow him to change it?
I If you need to later because you can't get enough nationals, we'll let you swap it, but I'd say leave it for now.
Since we can go with the Expos, I should be fine. So
yeah.
The nationals aren't the problem. It's the freaking Marlins that are the problem.
Yeah. But yeah, I just looked at Washington too, and I'm like, damn it. But I mean, honestly, I think Harper's having his better seasons as a Phil right now. So
yeah.
But anyway, so we're going to stay current. And I'm going to take my first Atlanta Brave, cross out all my currents so I can just do whatever I want from now on.
Say it.
In the outfield, Ronald Acuna Jr.
That's not where I thought you were going.
I will not take Austin Riley.
Oh, that would have been funny as hell if he had to take Riley.
Not while Acuna's on the board. No way.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with that. No, Acuna is 100% the better player. All right, I'm getting rid of the fucking Marlins, and I don't want to think about them for the rest of the draft. Josh Beckett, one of the greatest postseason performances you'll ever see out of a starting pitcher. He did that with Boston too, so it wasn't just a flash in the pan. So I'm happy to say. Although, wasn't he one of the ones that was supposedly starting the downfall of the eroding of the Boston locker room culture with those poker games before the games were actually over, if I remember right? Yeah, I feel like there was something weird there. All right, let's see here. Where should I go next? I haven't gone with a Philly yet, have I? Actually, I haven't gone with anybody but Miami and Atlanta. All right, let's see. I'm going to take one of Philly's best pitchers they ever had. I'm going to take Robin Roberts.
Yeah.
I'll take two starters back to back. Jason?
Who were the two that you just took?
Beckett from the Marlins, Roberts from the Phillies.
Cool. I'm going to knock out a Met, and I'm going to go with one of the all-time Mets greats, and I'm going to take Tom Seaver as a starting pitcher.
Absolutely. Hell of a pitcher. Dude ran through pants like nobody else. Didn't they actually on his statue that they unveiled last year, didn't they have the scuff mark on his knee?
I don't remember.
I hope they did. That's so iconic. All right, Joe, on the turn picks.
Okay. I think I have two currents. Is that what you have?
I have for you two currents, Diaz and Soto.
Okay. That's good to know. At shortstop, I'm going to take from the Marlins, Hanley Ramirez.
Shortstop, Hanley Ramirez. He's not current, right? No, he retired on the team.
No,
okay.
No.
All right. Just checking.
And then at first, I'm going to take at first, I'm going to take Derek Lee.
Derek Lee. Wow, there's a name I haven't heard in ages.
Former Cub, former Marlin.
Yeah. All around good guy.
Mm-hmm. All
right, Joe, your Marlins are done.
Yep.
Thank God.
All I need is two currents, a National or Expo, and two Phillies. So
yeah,
I like where I'm sitting.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to say we were all smart and got the Marlins done by round 6.
Yeah.
Didn't agonize over those selections.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jason, who's up next?
I'm going to get my first Nationals out of the way. I'm going to go back to the Expos with this one. And in the outfield, Vlad Sr.
Yeah. Good pick. Oops, Markman's washed. I would have said Montreal. That would have really screwed with me if I did that. Tabulating this later. All right, I'm going to knock off a current player, and I'm going to take him as I think I'm going to take him as a national, actually, not as a Met, and I'm going to take Mad Max Scherzer. Honestly, I know I could take him as a Met, but I feel like I can't. He's just so much better known for everything he did with the Nationals than with the Mets or the Tigers. All right, I'm going to take with my next pick. Let's see, I finished my starters already, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 picks in a row. Whoops. Oh well. All right, I'm gonna go with at catcher Mike Piazza. Who I would still take in a head-to-head fight against Roger Clemens in a 3-round or less knockout.
Hell, I think I'd take Piazza over Veritek.
Probably. All right, Jason, who's your next pick?
I think I'm going to get my catcher at, and also end the Nationals. I'm going to back to the Expos. Gary Carter.
Yeah, good pick. The catcher train has started. Is Joe going to finish it?
You know what? Why not? Darren Dalton.
Dutch.
I thought you'd appreciate that one.
I do, very much so.
I'm spelling it wrong, aren't I? Yeah, Rren. Sorry,
Yep.
my cousin's Darin, so that's how I default to spelling it.
Okay.
Yeah, can't argue with that pick. Good one. So the catchers are done. Awesome. We never got the catchers done that quick. Let's face it, most of these divisions do not have a deep series of catchers anywhere. So, all right, Joe, the turn pick.
Let's see. What do I knock out next? I'm gonna get a current out of the way, and I'm going to take DeGrom.
Okay.
Last starter.
Yeah. I was going to take him, and then I realized, crap, I already got all my starters. He was going to be my last pick, though.
So you both all have your starters out?
I do, yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
Take your time for your third.
Just because I'm curious, is Smoltz still on the board?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Okay. I'm just making a note here. That's not my actual pick for this round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because my actual pick for this round, I need to get him on my team. Designated hitter, Michael Jack Schmidt.
I got to tell you, dude, if Schmitty was still on the board when it came to me, I was taking him. Are you taking him at first base, I assume?
No,
Or
he's my DH. He was third base.
Okay. Didn't he place him first? I can't remember.
No.
Not really.
Not enough to count.
I wouldn't count it. He's known as a third baseman.
Fair enough. Yeah. Just like I wouldn't accept somebody taking Chipper as a shortstop. You could have made an argument for outfield, though. He played enough seasons. I would have accepted that. God, that was a terrible idea to bring Vinny Castilla in and move Chipper into the outfield. What the hell's Bobby thinking? All right, let's see here. I need some middle infield, huh? You know, when he was a player, I always thought of him as an enormous asshole because he was, but he was gritty, hard-nosed, and played the game, honestly, one of my favorite ways. Chase Utley. All right, Philly's done. What do I need? One more Met and one more Washington or Expo, huh? How in the hell is he still available? Really? Did he play enough games in outfield? Yeah. Yeah, he played a decent. I'm not going to make that pick. He was primarily a catcher. I was looking at Gary Carter, by the way.
You can't take him. I took him.
Jason took him.
Oh, you already took him? Okay, good. All right, good. Oh, it's because I have him marked as a national because it's the Nationals. I really should be marking them Nationals/Expos, so I don't do that.
Yep.
All right, let's go with. I can't take him. That's already filled. That's filled. I gotta say, we filled these up faster than I thought. Some of these positions up faster than I thought we were. All right, for my last Met, I'm going to take none other than the one, the only, the Darryl Strawberry.
Okay.
All right, Jason, you're up.
All right, so let's see here. Need to double check a couple things here. So I know I need a Met yet. Oh, I could do that.
Yes, you do need a Met.
I'm good. Okay. I'm going to go with shortstop and J-Roll, Jimmy Rollins, one of the best shortstops to play the game, especially in that era.
He wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad.
He just can't let me. He just can't say something good about the Phillies.
No, actually, one thing I do like about J-Roll, he's been who picked him up as a writer? Was it ESPN or was it SI? He's writing for somebody. I love his articles. Phenomenal reading, honestly, and really good insight into the steroids era and what it was like to play in it, especially as a non-juiced up player and as a speed player, because let's face it, speed gets overlooked all the time. Joey, who's up?
Okay. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take care of current players and the Nationals, and I'm gonna take Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz at DH, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like if you're taking him as a current player, you have to take him as a DH.
Yeah, and that knocks out my currents, and that was the more important.
Yes, that's it for your currents.
Yep. Frees me up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And next?
I am going to take at third base David Wright.
Yeah. Honestly, one of the better Mets we ever got to see play. Classy guy. Just could not beat the injury bug. Yeah. Too bad, too. He needs to be one of the next numbers that the Mets retire, honestly.
Yeah.
Jason?
Speaking of one of the all-time great Mets, I'm going to knock my Mets off the board here, which I believe fills all my requirements.
Yes.
And I'm going to take my closing pitcher as one of the all-time best closers, at least in his time, Billy Wagner.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you guys are dumped closers. Cool. I can just sit on that pick. Nice.
Yep. I figured while I need to get a Met player off the board here, may as well.
Yeah, boy, when you saw Wagner coming in, that was it.
The only time I was glad to see Billy Wagner come into the game was when Pat Burrell would be facing him.
Yeah.
Because Pat Burrell just dominated Billy Wagner.
Yeah. I don't know why it defies all logic. But also, if I remember correctly, Pat Burrell would say anytime he was on a slump, well, when do I play the Mets next? I'll be fine. Or words to that effect. He was like Chipper. He just demolished the Mets every time he played them. It's pretty beautiful, actually. All right, let's see. I got second cover. I got short. No, I still need a shortstop first. Okay, and I need currents. All right, first baseman, Freddie Freeman. Knock out a current player there. Not get that out of the way. I still need, no, outfield's done. Starters are done. Right, shortstop, closer, DH. Oh, wow. Actually, that worked out pretty well. All right. All right. I think for shortstop, I don't really know. Well, let's knock him out anyway. I'm going to take Francisco Lindor and take care of all my currents. No, I'm taking Dansby. Screw it. Dansby, shortstop. Honestly, I'd rather take Furcal, but I need the current player.
I forgot I do need a Brave player, but I already have that lined up. So
there's no shortage of them.
Although, actually, no, I can do this.
Current or former.
Do both of you have your second baseman?
Yes, I took Utley.
I do not.
Joe did not take a second baseman.
Okay. Then I'm going to change that. So I'm doing some planning ahead here.
Go for it. I already know my last two picks.
All right. So I'm going to take second base here. Second base, as far as the history of the NL East, is very thin overall, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Once you get out of, like, Chase Utley, I think was the easy top pick there for second base.
Yeah.
So I don't need a current player, but it's going to fill my Braves quota as well. I'm going to take Ozzy.
Yeah, good pick. Plus, it's a switch hitter, too, and you don't get switch hitting with power from both sides too often at second base. All right, Joe.
Andrew, is your outfield done?
Yes. Aaron, Stanton, Strawberry.
Okay. I'm going to take Andrew Jones.
Yep.
Nice.
Because why not?
Arguably the best center fielder to ever play the game.
Just so I could hear you say that, you know.
Again, so just let it go, Joe.
Shut up. I just wanted to take all the Braves guys he didn't take just to piss him off.
I can't take all the Braves guys. I could make an all-time Braves team, but I'm not allowed to.
I know you could, but I took some of the guys that you probably wanted to take.
Yeah.
So
the only one you took that I really would have wanted was Maddox.
Yeah.
But he was also a Cub, so I get it, dude. And I think I actually took him as a Cub in the Central draft, so I got him once.
Yeah. I'm going to take, on the wraparound, I'm going to take care of second base. Mickey Morandini.
I was thinking of Mickey, and I would put Ozzy above him, but I loved Mickey Morandini when he played.
Yeah, good pick.
It's just an amazing name. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's such a baseball name, you know?
Yeah.
Is it CKI or is it
Mickey, Mickey? Yeah, I know USC.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Joe, that was your wraparound, right?
Correct.
That's your up.
I am very surprised neither of you thought of him. But at first base, Jim Thome.
I did think about it. My Phillies quota was already covered.
So
Still a good player.
No, he is, but
I would put him there over Freddie.
I needed a current. That's why I went with Freddie instead.
The rules of the draft. They're a bitch.
To be honest, Thome was very high on my list at first base, but when you have that freaking player need, you take care of the player need.
You made the rules, man. Like,
well, no, I'm glad I made him the way I did, though. It made it more.
And I'd argue we all had input on that.
Yeah. And to be fair, I did not make one of these rules unilaterally. I asked for opinions for every single one, so it's all of our faults.
And the thing is, we knew that we could just do Hall of Famers or 2000s based off of like for any division, really. So you needed to make sure that some of the younger and current players are in there. So I love that we did that rule.
Yeah, same.
I was just being,
I know.
Contrarian.
Just stirring the pot, man. That's all I do.
All right. So for my DH, I'm going to take Eddie Matthews. And then for my closer, I'm going to take John Smoltz.
I'm glad I didn't save him for the end.
Wouldn't have mattered. I had picked before you at the end.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad I didn't save him.
If you hadn't, I would have taken Kimbrel.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to move and take. I was going to take him with my last pick as a starter. And then I realized that there was a different starter I wanted, so I was able to take out Ozzy there a second. But go ahead and do your last pick.
I just did Smoltz.
Oh, Smoltz was your last pick. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I have to end with one of the Phillies. It's just I got to. Yeah. I need a starter. One of the best starters to ever play the game for the Phillies, Steve Carlton.
Ooh, Carlton over Doc. All right.
Yeah, Steve Carlton over Doc.
All right. To be honest, I feel like either guy is a great pick.
Yeah, I couldn't go wrong with either.
Yeah. Hell, Doc went in with 2 logos on his hat. So, Joe, who is Mr. Irrelevant for the NL East?
Oh, jeez.
No pressure.
Austin Riley.
Nope. Don't need a third baseman. And I won't pick Riley either.
Oh, I was just saying since we were saying Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
What do you still need?
He is irrelevant, and he's still not top 5 MVP.
Oh, you still need an outfielder. Okay.
I got it.
You have your pick.
No, I legitimately forgot what you still needed.
Yeah. I am gonna take. Oh shoot. There's too many choices here at the end with this.
Yeah, there's a lot of good outfielders from the NL East.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take
Pat Burrell, Jason Worth.
Trust me, they're on my list. It's just
Gary Sheffield.
It's just
Vlad.
deciding
Oh wait,
who to
Vlad's
take.
gone.
The chef.
No.
Dude, I loved that swing, man. I hurt my wrists trying to swing like that.
I'm gonna take
Ben Revere.
no.
Michael Harris II.
Nope. I'm gonna take Bobby Abreu.
Yes.
Wait.
No, you're good, Joe. You're good, Joe.
Okay.
You can reconsider. It's okay. Who else were you thinking?
Dykstra.
Ooh,
I'm good with either, baby.
I'd take Dykstra over Abreu.
I'll do Dykstra. Lenny Dykstra.
Yeah, I'd take Dykstra.
Yeah. You could go with either.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick either.
Abreu had more of the power numbers. Dykstra had more of this. Dykstra is a Joe McGrath guy here. Yeah. He's a money baller. He got on base.
any way possible. Getting hit, walking, slapping the ball the other way around the shift. Yeah.
Kept waiting for him to choke on his chewing tobacco because.
Yeah. Yeah, honest. How did that never happen? I don't know how the hell he was able to breathe.
Yeah. And one of the ones that I had on my list that I ended up not needing because Tommy ended up being available at first base. I was thinking Ryan Howard, and then I thought the Crucker, John Kruk, would have been a good one too on there.
I think he
was
right
on my
call
list
with
at the
Tommy.
end.
I think you made a better pick with Tommy than you would have made with Kruk.
Oh, yeah.
My-
If Tommy's there, you have a Hall of Famer with 500 some home runs.
Yeah, and
no brainer.
And Ryan Howard, hell of a career, but boy, cut short by injuries. He's in like the Sandy Koufax line. Hell of a peak, but really short peak.
Yeah, and the reason for it was that blown Achilles in that Game 5 against the Cardinals. That ended his career basically.
Yeah, he tried to come back a couple times. I know he made the spring training roster with the Braves and didn't make the team.
Yeah, that injury absolutely ended his career. And the thing now, he actually tweeted this a couple of weeks ago. Can you imagine him playing with no shift?
Yeah, I saw that when they announced the rules change. Yeah, he would have been insane with no shift.
There are so many players here that I keep thinking, man, without that shift, these players are in the wrong played in the wrong era.
Jason, you bring that up. There was one other thing that came with the shift rule that we were talking about a little bit last week. One part of the shift, I don't care about taking away the shift. The one thing I don't like is forcing the infielders to stay on the dirt and not be in the outfield. I feel like if you're not allowed to shift, they should be allowed to take the risk of playing deeper in the outfield, knowing that they have to make a longer throw. What do you think? I just think that the fact that we're going to cement the infielders on the dirt is just dumb.
Yeah, I agree. And that's something that I was thinking too was if you take away the shift, you need to give especially the middle infielders a chance.
Yeah.
By making them have their feet in the dirt and not lay them, even if it's like let them have like 3 steps into the outfield or something. Because it's still not a shift.
Right. It's just playing deep.
Yeah, you're still gonna have 2 on the right, 2 on the left. They're playing deep to be able to try to make a play. You're going to start seeing scores just skyrocket, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to do the opposite of what they want.
Ronnie, we wholeheartedly agree with that.
100%. And the thing is, like, they're all about trying to make the game shorter, things like that. Having 5-6 run innings regularly because people just keep pulling the ball, it's going to make the games longer.
Yeah.
So
you're not going to speed it up that way.
I can understand wanting to get rid of the shift, but I think you should at least let them get into the outfield at a certain point. And the other thing here is you're going to have to start seeing stadiums have universal dirt dimensions. Because if you look at it now, like stadium infields, they have different dirt dimensions. Like they're not all the same. And what about the turf areas where there's only dirt around the bases? How are you going to do that?
You're allowed to go into the grass in the infield. They did say you're like, especially defending a bunt, you're allowed to be up in the grass. You're just not allowed to be in the outfield grass.
No, but like I'm thinking of, is it Toronto? I thought that there was one stadium that is turf where there's only dirt around the bases, not in the base paths.
Oh.
Let me do a check here of Rogers here.
I think you're right. I think it is
the stadium. I think it's Rogers.
Yeah.
Oh, Rogers does have a full dirt infield now. So I am wrong.
They didn't used to though.
No, I know that. Yeah. So there's
Actually,
a current picture of Rogers.
Yeah, Actually, we were when I was in second grade, my dad's trip was up to Toronto, and we saw a Blue Jays game up. It wasn't the Rogers Center, it was the what did it used to be called? The Sky Dome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it when it was still the Sky Dome, and if I'm not mistaken, it was like that. It was just dirt around each of the three bases.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm pretty sure you potentially had that at the vet. It's very possible that they changed it, but yeah. So yeah, I was thinking that now you're going to have teams, have the exact same dimensions for the infield dirt.
So did the Expos back in Olympic Stadium. That was the same thing. It was just dirt around the three bags.
Yeah.
I feel like that was probably something mostly with the AstroTurf stadiums, which are thankfully gone because AstroTurf was garbage. That's definitely an advent I'm happy to see go into the past and disappear forever, because think about how many injuries happened because of AstroTurf that did not need to happen.
Yeah.
Terrible. Now, granted, those of us in marching band, we liked AstroTurf. It was nice to march on, but that was about the only benefit of AstroTurf. All right, so that was the draft. I will get I'll make up a graphic, and I'll throw all of the teams up, and everybody give it a look, see what you think. Tell us which team you think is the best overall. To be honest, I'm liking the NL East teams because of the familiarity, at least for me and Jason, the most. But we'll see what everybody thinks. All right, let's roll into the recaps quick. Atlanta, not a great start, but it was a West Coast start. West Coast trips, as Jason pointed out in his notes to us last week, West Coast trips are just bullshit because East Coast teams suck in the West Coast and West Coast teams suck in the East Coast. They dropped 2-3 the Giants. Game 1 was a 3-2 loss. Game 2 was a 5-1 win. Game 3 was a 4-1 loss. Wright did pick up his 18th win, which leads MLB. Swans picked up his 20th homer of the season. And this is an odd stat that I've just recently become aware of. Atlanta does not play very well in day games this year. Day games, they're 21-25. Night games, they're 67-30. That's a crazy disparity. And then they swept the Phillies. Game 1 was a 7-2 win. Game 2 was a 4-3 win. Game 3 was a 5-2 win. Jason, I was honestly shocked that we were able to come back the way we did in that Game 1, because your bullpen is not bad. I putting up a 5 or a 6 run inning that late is very surprising. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think it was surprising because I believe it was Dominguez that gave up the 2-run shot to Acuna.
It was.
So just a rare bad outing from him. It was one where I was hoping the Phils would take at least one. I wasn't expecting them to win the series or take all 3 just because, it's in Atlanta. It's a tough place to play. So it was definitely disappointing that they got swept, especially because the Brewers ended up taking 2 from the Yankees this past weekend, which
that was surprising.
Yeah. So the Phils ended up giving up second. They had a 3.5 game lead over the Padres. That's gone. They're now in third by half a game. And they had a 4.5 game lead, I think, at one point, maybe even up to 5 again over the Brewers, but it's now down to 2. So it's one where I'm still I'm torn as to what I think is going to happen. I want to believe that the Phils should hold on because the Brewers schedule is tough. Now the Phils schedule is also tough for the rest of the year, but the thing that the Phils have going for them is they own the tiebreaker over both the Padres and the Brewers. So they just need to stay even. But I tell you what, with how the last few Septembers have gone, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't skeptical about them making the playoffs.
That's fair. The reason why I'm a little more bullish on the Phillies and the Brewers for that last spot, or for one of the spots at least, is the Brewers still have to play the Mets for a series. And the Phillies are, thank God for you this year, done with the Mets for now. So, and your last series, Atlanta's in Philadelphia. Let's face it, since Truist Park opened, Philadelphia has not played well in Truist Park. So I'm not surprised that the series went. I'm a little surprised at the sweep. I swear I was not trying to jinx anything when I said I did not expect to win the Odorizzi game, and I was very pleasantly shocked that they did win that game because he has not been great since they picked him up.
Yeah.
But what happened? Acuna, he heated up 4 for 11, pair of doubles, pair of home runs, 6 RBIs. Contreras had a home run 2 home runs and 4 runs scored and 3 RBIs. And then Spencer freaking Strider, man, he is owning the Phillies, owning them. He is in his career with, granted, young career. He's 4-0 in 3 starts, 1.27 ERA. He became the first Braves rookie to hit 200 strikeouts in the modern era. The last rookie to do that was Yu Darvish in 2012. And he broke Randy Johnson's record for the fastest to 200, which was 130 and 2/3 innings. He did it in 130. And again, remember, he didn't start the year as a starter. So had he started as a starter, that record may have gotten shattered even quicker. So, whether it's going to be Strider, Harris, or both as rookie of the year, I don't know. But Strider, I think, pretty much cemented that he will be one of them, if nothing else, with that performance. That was insane. I was a no-hit bid until Baum smashed one, and that was a no-doubter when he hit it, too. I watched the replay of that one, Jason. Holy shit.
He finally touched home plate.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to bring that up, actually.
I was actually very surprised that you did it in our chat when I messaged about the Baum homer.
No, I think he touched home plate earlier this year.
He did.
On another home run, probably.
I was prepared with that fact.
Yeah, I figured he already did. But yeah, Strider, I am so impressed. I just hope he can continue this success year after year. He's got ace stuff. I would like to see him develop a third pitch because right now he's basically a fastball slider guy. So I'd like to see another pitch there. But yeah. And then one tough break. Ozzy, he had a bloop double into left field, slid headfirst into second, and then his finger either got stepped on by Segura or he jammed it into Segura's cleat. The replay wasn't really clear, but Segura knew it happened. Like after the play was over, he was like, Pat and Ozzy, like, I'm so sorry, So Ozzy is out.
He just experienced that himself. So
yeah, jam fingers suck. And the fact that Ozzy jammed it hard enough to fracture it, that especially after being out for 2.5 months with the broken foot, you feel for the guy. He's not ruled out for the postseason. If the Braves go far enough, he could come back in a later round, but he's probably out for about a month, maybe a month and a quarter. So we'll see. What the good thing is, he does not need surgery. It's just one of those put in a brace and let it heal injuries. So just tough break for Ozzy, after being out for so long. Jason, anything else from Braves, Phillies?
No. If Joe does have anything, I could just wrap up the Phils quick here. So that was the second half of the week. First part of the week, the Phils played the Marlins, who the Phils have actually beaten the Marlins this year, which is it's amazing. But they won game 1 2-1, game 2 6-1. They do lose game 3, which was an Angel Hernandez game, 5-3. We won't go deep into that. I kind of gave you some thoughts already. But yeah, the Phils have beaten Alcantara a few times this season, 3 or 4 times, I think. But I gave some thoughts earlier with the Phils and the postseason stuff. So the big note here is Zach Wheeler comes back this week. They're going to ease him back into his workload. I believe he's starting Wednesday. It's very possible it's tomorrow, but I believe it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And what they're what they're going to do, they are relegating Noah Syndergaard to the bullpen essentially, and they're going to piggyback Syndergaard off of Wheeler. So Wheeler will do a few innings, and then Syndergaard will pick up for 2 starts, and then basically you'll be at the postseason. And the reason for this, and I admire Rob Thompson for doing this. Bailey Falter has filled in phenomenally when starters went down. Zach Eflin first, and then Zach Wheeler. This last start, when the Braves ended up winning the game that Falter started, that was the first game that the Phillies did not win his start since he's been doing that. So Rob Thompson came out and said, Falter's earned the right to be that last starter. And I completely agree with him. So, and Syndergaard over the last couple of starts has struggled a little bit. Falter hasn't. Go with a hot hand.
Yeah, I have not been impressed with Syndergaard. The first couple starts weren't bad, but he's not the Thor of old.
He's not the Thor of old, but he's done better than I thought he would do, honestly. He won a few starts, kept the team in the game, and that the last, I think it was 2 to 3 starts were not great. But, hopefully he can find it in the bullpen, kind of what they're doing with Zach Eflin now. If they can find their spots in the bullpen, they'll be dangerous.
All right. Joe, how about the Cubs?
Yeah, just one quick thing for Jason. The Mets are up 7-2 after 8. I think after 8.
Go Mets. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The Cubs had a mixed bag of a week. They go 4-2. The big part of this week obviously was the sweep of the aforementioned Metropolitans from Flushing, Queens, and more than happy to assist in that. Andrew, sorry,
how do you beat the Mets? I'm asking from a Phillies fan standpoint, whose team doesn't beat the Mets.
Horribly not beat the Mets.
5-14 or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. They win game 1 5-2, game 2 4-1, and game 3 6-3. First team to sweep the Mets this year. Assad pitched game 1. He's looked really good. Most of his starts here, he's a guy they called up. 6 innings, 5 hits and runs, 6 strikeouts. All of the Cubs' runs came in the first 3 2/3 against Bassett. They didn't score anything after that. So to be able to maintain that lead, throughout the game with that lineup, that's impressive on the Cubs in game 1. Game 2, DeGrom gets DeGrommed, of course. Adrian Sampson
out for that to happen. That hadn't happened all season.
Yeah. Adrian Sampson outduels DeGrom in this one. Both go 6 innings, but Sampson 2 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts. DeGrom 5 hits, 3 runs, 10 strikeouts. So crazy. Still kept his consistency of 3 runs or fewer still. So that streak is still alive for DeGrom, which is just insane. And then game 3, Drew Smiley gets the W, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk and 5 strikeouts. A hat tip to former Cub and current Met Trevor Williams, who came in after Peterson went a third of an inning and gave up 2 hits, 5 runs, and 3 walks, to go 4 1/3 and only give up 4 hits and 1 other run. Throughout that, and strike out 8 Cubs after Peterson's bad start. Hat tip to Trevor Williams. So that was that series. I'm not mad about it. But hey, and the quest for 63 is down to 1 game. So we're in good shape after this week. That they lose 2 out of 3 to the Rockies. Stroman was good in game 1. It was a 2-1 win. Game 2, both starters were really good in this one. 3-1 loss. Wisniewski was the return on Efros, and he continues to look really good. Jason, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. He had a really good start last week. And then game 3, Gomes went 3 for 4, a homer, 3 RBIs, and a run. So Gomes tried to beat them by himself, but just wasn't quite enough.
All right. Hey, thanks for sweeping the mess. I cannot believe they hadn't been swept until now. That's insane. Verging on bullshit.
Don't underestimate a team with nothing to play for and nothing to lose.
Yeah, right. So if I'm not mistaken, the Cubbies one more win and they clinch no 100-loss season. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah, the quest for 63 is down to 1 game. I was hoping they would get it yesterday or tonight. Tonight they did not. So, they'll get there, I hope, with the schedule they have coming up. So,
yeah, I'm sure they're not going to lose out. There's just nobody, not even the Nationals are bad enough to lose out. So, yeah, they'll pick that up, I'm sure. All right, so moving on to the hot players for me this week. I only have 3 hitters. I have Yordan Alvarez, a 520, 556, 1.28 line, 10 runs, 5 homers, 10 RBIs, 13 hits, 4 doubles, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. I have All Rise for Aaron Judge at 556, 40, 1.25, 9 runs, 4 homers, 6 RBIs, 11 hits, 2 doubles, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a sore back for carrying that entire freaking Yankees lineup on his back. And Willie Adames. Joe, was Adames is your Moneyball player, right?
Yes.
All right, so go ahead. Take Adames' stat line for me.
Sure. Adames, 444, 583, 944, OPS 1527, 5 runs, 8 hits, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, 6 walks, and 4 strikeouts.
2 stolen bases, too, just to boost that up. Hell of a week for Adames. Jason, anybody else you want to add? And Joe, anybody else for the main list?
No, you had my other 2.
All right. Yeah, that was top 3 was pretty damn easy this week. It was them and everybody else is kind of a mush below. All right, hot pitchers for me. Speaking of rookies who struck out 200 pitchers, Yu Darvish, 2-0 this week, 14 innings, 15 strikeouts, an ERA of 0, a .29 whip, 3 hits and a walk. Joe Ryan of the Brewers, 2-0, 15 innings, 14 strikeouts, ERA of 0.
Joe Ryan's on the Twins.
He is. Yeah, wow. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Joe Ryan of the Twins, not the Brewers. I was like, I knew that didn't look right when I was typing it.
And one of those starts, he left a no-hitter in after 7 or 7 and a third.
I hate it when managers do that, Dave Roberts.
His pitch count was super high. So
yeah, I understand
probably why.
In his case, I do understand, but Mr. Clayton Kershaw is online too and would like to have an argument with his manager. Anyway, 14 strikeouts, ERA of 0, whip of .48, 3 hits, 4 walks. I had Alcantara 1-1, 16 innings and 2 starts. Damn. 11 strikeouts, 1.69 ERA, 1.06 whip, 3 earned runs, 15 hits, 2 walks, and a home run. I know 15 hits is a lot, but not over 16 innings when you spread that out. Damn. And then I had Spencer Strider, 1-1, 11 innings, 19 strikeouts, 245, 127, 3 runs, 10 hits, 4 walks, and 1 home run allowed. Jason, any other starters for you? Joe, any other starters?
2. Jose Quintana did not get the win in this one, but he went 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 hit batter, and 6 strikeouts. And then another Cardinal, Dakota Hudson, 1-0, 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's still weird to say Quintana of the Cardinals. It just doesn't sound right. All right, Joe, who is the adulting reliever of the week?
Well, 2 honorable mentions first. Josh Hader didn't blow a save this week, so he gets back on the list. 2 for 2 in saves.
That's your requirement is just don't blow a save?
No.
I mean, Hader.
For Hader, yes, because Hader was so bad.
David Robertson didn't blow a save. Put him on the reliever list. Austin Riley didn't pitch. Put him on the reliever list.
Thank God, too. I don't ever want to see Riley pitch.
Anyway, 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts. The other honorable mention, Daniel Bard for the Colorado Rockies. 3 for 3 in saves, 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 6 strikeouts. The adulting reliever of the week is a Cardinal, Ryan Helsley. 3 appearances this week, 2 for 2 in saves, 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, no runs. Had an immaculate inning over the weekend to finish out a game. Whip of 0.67.
Shit.
So.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. And speaking of the Rockies, I actually have them, I think, for the first time this season, or maybe the second time. I do have them on the hot list. They somehow have decided that even though they're long eliminated and largely irrelevant, they've decided that they're going to finally play baseball. It took them a couple months, but they finally decided, hey, we're here, we're going to play. So I've got the Rockies, I've got the Padres, the Dodgers, the Cardinals, the Brewers, the Braves, the Mets, the Astros, the White Sox, the Guardians, and the Yankees for my hot teams from this last week. Guys, anybody to add, anybody to take off?
I don't think so.
All right. Looking for our teams coming up this week. Atlanta 3 versus the Nats. They did win tonight. That was Wright versus Abbott, Morton versus Corbin, Fried versus Gray. And then they head straight up to Philadelphia for 4. Odorizzi versus Suarez, Strider versus Nola, Wright versus Falter, Morton versus Gibson. That's going to be a hell of a series this weekend, Jason.
I'm really interested in the Strider Nola one again.
Yeah, I have a feel. I really hope the Braves and the Phillies keep those two guys lined up together in the rotation for the foreseeable future, because every time those two guys play, it's a hell of a game. It's really limited offense too. So if you like pitching duels, that's the way to do. That's the kind of game to see. And then for the Phillies, they also play a mini series with the Blue Jays at home. Gibson versus Stripling, and then Wheeler/Thor versus Gossman. And that's not going to be a pushover series because the Blue Jays are hot right now, and they're pushing for that last wild card spot too, or a wild card spot too, as the Orioles are trying to sneak in. Although I understand hopes are getting narrow there.
Yeah, the Orioles lost again tonight to the Tigers, and they got obliterated 11-0. From what I think that's what I saw.
I hope they bounce back.
But
Ronnie's going to be there on Saturday. All right. So Ronnie, hopefully you see another Braves victory, but it's up in Philly. So
hopefully not. Who are the probables for Saturday?
Saturday is going to be Wright versus Falter. That's actually a really good matchup.
That's a good game.
Yeah. That's either going to be a lot of offense or no offense at all, depending on how the ballpark.
Enjoy, Ron. I hope you have a good game. Hope the Phils win for you.
I don't, but
definitely let us know what you thought of the game. Let us know just your thoughts on everything, and we'll definitely talk about it. So for the Phils, this is their last homestand of the regular season. So they end with 10 on the road. So that's why they need to take care of business this week, and they need the help to give them some distance. Because I believe they have 4 in DC at one point, but they do end on the road in Houston against the Astros.
That sucks.
It's a terrible way to end.
Well, you might get the Astros might have everything locked up, so they might be resting people. So you might be able to sneak a couple easy ones there.
That's true. So the main thing, though, the Phils need to take care of business this week. At least split with the Blue Jays, and then 2 or 3 from the Braves, just to give themselves a little distance.
Yeah, I think the best you can hope for is a split, bud. It's not going to be a sweep either way. I don't see that.
The best I can hope for is a sweep by the Phils.
That's not happening.
The realistic thoughts are 2-3.
Yeah, I'm seeing a split or 3 for Atlanta. I'm not seeing a sweep from either team in this series, though. Not seeing it. Cubbies, you're on the road all week, Joe. 3 at the Marlins. Smiley versus Cabrera. Sampson versus Lopez. Smiley versus Luzardo. May Jason and I both say, how the hell did you avoid Alcantara? That's bullshit. And then you go up here to PA to play 4 at the Pirates. Stroman versus Keller. Assad versus Wilson. Miley versus Oviedo. And Sampson versus Contreras. So, Joe, yeah, that's bullshit. How you don't have Alcantara, that's complete crap. But at least you have 4 with the Pirates. And, yeah, I hope you guys shell the hell out of the Pirates, honestly. They screwed up against the Mets and couldn't do anything. So please return the favor and just beat the ever-loving hell out of them for me.
Yeah, see what they can do. Sampson and Smiley are playing for spots next year. Sampson has been dealing the last few starts. I think most of his starts have been quality starts. Whether he's won them or not, they've been quality starts. I think 4 in a row. So he's been eating up innings. He's been in good position, and then something happens. Rowan Wick comes in or something. But yeah, so I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to knocking the 63rd win out of the way, hopefully earlier this week, and I'm looking forward to Ian Happ, who is a native Pittsburgh kid, to beat the crap out of the Pirates and do what he does.
Absolutely. One thing I just saw, Jason, your schedule is terrible. We are in the middle of 13 or 14 straight games, and we're going directly from the Nationals to Philadelphia with no travel days. So that might help you guys out a little bit there. And then after we're done in Philadelphia, we have to turn and burn back to Washington to play the Nationals on the road, which there's going to be 12 people in the stands probably for that game, maybe 13. So yeah. I'm not really worried about the Nationals getting a home field advantage, but yeah, the schedules are, this is terrible. I know the Mets have a terrible schedule to close out. So yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of the schedules at the end of the year kind of got screwed around with the lockout, wiping out the first part of the season, but yeah, let's hope we never see this again, because I just, this is terrible.
Yeah. The Phils after this homestand go. They play the Cubs, Nats, and Astros on the road to close out. So, hopefully, Joe, I'm sorry. Hopefully, the Phils repay the Cubs for that sweep earlier this season. But who knows? You got to beat the teams that are bad in order to make it. So. Well, after this week, they have a good 7 games where they should win, but it's a matter of if they get it done.
Well, and not only that, you need to beat the teams in your division. And when you can't beat the teams in your division, that's going to come and bite you in the ass.
I'd say the Phils are trying to buck that trend, but the Phils beat up pretty badly on the Nats and Marlins this year, which is something I didn't think I'd say.
Yeah, right.
And I know that the Braves just swept the Phils, but that season series has actually been pretty balanced overall.
Yeah, it was split coming into the series.
Yeah, it's like 6-6 or something like that.
6-6. It's 9-6 now. I was actually surprised to see that, but I didn't realize that somehow the Braves and Phillies got evenly spread throughout the year, whereas Phillies and Mets got clustered mostly over the course of 2.5 months, which is also stupid.
Yeah.
All right, guys, any other series you're keeping an eye on, or are we just pretty much barreling down on our respective playoff race hopes?
I mean, I'm not barreling down on a playoff race, obviously. So, I'm looking at 63, and that's about it for the Cubs. But basically, it's gut check time this week for the White Sox. They play 3 against the Guardians starting tomorrow. The Guardians beat the crap out of the Twins today, which didn't help things. They're 4 back going into. They have 3 with the Guardians this week and 3 with the Twins next week. So if you're going to make your push, this is the time.
Yeah, and they need to make it because the Guardians are hot. They need to hold their ground because that wild card's not going to come to them.
No, it's division or bust for them, and that's fine. But this is the time. So I'll be watching them probably a little more closely than I'm watching the Cubs this week.
Understandable. And for our local fans, the Orioles are 4.5 out of the wild card at this point as games are finishing up tonight. So definitely not out of the picture yet, but they really need to get hot now. They're out of time to wait for that spark to reignite, but I really hope they're able to do it. I'd love to see the Orioles, especially if nothing else, just to spite the frickin' Angelos for trading away Mancini. It's been too long. I'd like to see them back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right.
There are a couple series that I'm looking at this week. The main thing I'm keeping track of early this week is the Mets Brewers series, just because it's a huge series for the Phillies to just watch and hope that the Mets beat up on the Brewers. It was currently 7-2 in the ninth, 1 out, 1 on. And then later this week, I'm actually keeping track of the Cardinals Dodgers. Just because you have the potential for a big playoff matchup here. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how they play against each other.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys, you can find our audio recordings on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Amazon Music, and Spreaker. You can see us live on our YouTube channel, on Facebook Live, and on Twitter. You can find our merchandise at redbubble.com/people/DDAB-podcast. Follow us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/$dogsandbeer. On the Twitter page at DDAB_podcast. All three of us are on Twitter. I'm at PyroLord314. Jason's at JRicker300. Joe's at JoltonJoe35. We are presented by Dark Arrow Podcast LLC, and we are sponsored by the phenomenal Whiskey and Blade Barbershop in Lidditz. Johnny, we got to have a talk about your Yankees next time I'm in there. May your dogs always cost $1. May your beer always be cold. Have a good night, guys.